Hey everyone, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate the support. I'm trying out this new thing where I'm kind of putting my hair into random turbans. There's a lot of videos online about putting your hair into random things like that. So I thought I'd try it out. Something to do when I'm in this room and I'm not able to leave. In any case, the reason I wanted to do this particular video is because I've been thinking about the idea that has been spreading online that the virus that has been, obviously torturing us or taking over our lives, the coronavirus, is some sort of evil being. It's kind of like an evil doer that has been sent over from above to punish us or to teach us lessons and things like that. And it was kind of hilarious to me, or kind of ironic to me, to hear that because, a lot of times human beings are compared to being a virus. And I think that's very apt in itself. But I can't imagine, unless the virus was used as a tool by some conscious being. Viruses themselves are not conscious beings. They're not sentient. They don't know right from wrong. They don't have a brain or a prefrontal cortex like us that can distinguish between wrongdoings versus right doings. I think viruses are just doing their thing, which is basically going from place to place, going from human to human, and just living their lives, basically. Just the way a lot of us imagine we're doing things as well. We're just basically trying to live our lives. How can we fix the fact that there's billions of us and corporations are looting the earth and all that stuff? If we just consider ourselves, we're doing the best we can. And that's all you can really do. And so, in general, I was kind of perturbed by the idea that a lot of human beings on this planet are starting to blame not only the Chinese people, which there's a lot of racism and a lot of hatred against them right now, which is totally not warranted because viruses are coming from all over the place, and pandemics have happened all over the world throughout human history. There was a Spanish flu, and then there was a Black Plague in, wherever it was in UK, I think. But in throughout the world, not only just Asian countries are bringing upon us the viruses, but every country in the world probably has a history of some sort of pandemic that happened because of some kind of virus in the past, right? So it's not only that, we can only blame them, but it's also not that we can just blame the virus itself as well. There is a certain set of conditions that have to be met in order for the virus to propagate, for it to be able to do the damage that it is doing right now. And that kind of condition was created perfectly by human beings because we have such an overpopulated planet and because we have all of these factory farming, really terrible conditions for a lot of our food. And also because of the fact that we have globalization and it is very easy nowadays, crazy easy for a virus or any kind of pandemic or any kind of disease to travel across the world in a matter of months or days even. I think January 24th was the first case in Wuhan in China, and I think they had the next, like they had it spread it to the next country within a week or so. So in general, I think it's not only obviously the virus's fault, although they are a very easy target for us. We can be like, well, it's not our fault, it's the virus's fault. Or we can be like, well, it's not our fault, it's, the Chinese people's fault. Or, well, it's not our fault, it's the corporation's fault. Well, a lot of it has to also do with our choices. Yes, the corporations are not helping, obviously. And yes, a lot of our government officials are not helping either because of the laws that they're creating. But in general, also, it also has to do partly, minutely, but partly with our choices that we make every single day. I've been also noticing a lot of posts about how a lot of individuals are supporting Amazon or, the big box stores right now like Walmart and Costco instead of supporting the small businesses. So, they say that if you are going to support those big businesses, then those are the only ones that are going to be left behind and all the small businesses are going to die off. And so they're asking or imploring people to support the small businesses. Now, of course, again, this is all about choice. What are the choices that we're making? What are we going to do on a daily basis? How are we going to live our lives? Things like that. So, as I said, it's a very easy thing to do that, we can just be like, all right, I'm going to blame the virus, or it's the evil virus that's causing all of this doom and destruction, or it's the evil corporations that are causing all of the global warming and the destruction of the planet and things like that. And yes, I mean, of course, we cannot say that that's not completely their fault. It's not completely the corporation's fault. Although I should, as I said, I have to say that the virus is basically a non-sentient, a non-conscious being. And I can't imagine that he or she or it is doing it particularly because they're like, oh, you know what? I don't like human beings and I don't like what they're doing on the planet, so I'm going to destroy them. I don't think that's what actually is happening. Of course, I'm not really an expert on this. Maybe they do have that kind of consciousness, and maybe they do think that the humanity has to be destroyed, or maybe there is a higher force, alien force, or something like that. That is controlling them, or maybe it was a medical terrorism thing and it was created by a particular government, whatever it was, to infiltrate the rest of the world and to establish their dominance. Either way, whatever the case is, I can't imagine that blaming something else, especially a virus or especially a corporation or especially a government, blaming them and pushing off all responsibility off of us onto that particular corporation or onto that particular thing. I can't imagine that that's actually a great idea, especially because that means that we're not going to make any changes in our life. We're not going to create any sort of long lasting changes. It's interesting because I've kind of been noticing, how China is opening up their borders again. They're kind of letting go of their lockdown, and instantaneously all the tourist sites in China are back to normal again. They're filled with hundreds of thousands of people, just packed to the gills. And then they also reopen their bat market and the markets that sell bats to eat, and their dog markets, the markets that sell dog meat. And, it's as if nothing happened, as if they didn't just go through a crazy pandemic where they were stuck inside for 3 months or something, as if it wasn't the fact that they were eating bat that caused all this. Or I believe that's the case. I'm not sure if that was actually the thing. Maybe it wasn't. But it's funny to me how, we're just kind of gonna slip back, right, back into how it was. Or that's what it seems like, looking at how China is back to normal almost instantaneously. Even though the government's like, the risk is not past yet, you have to be careful, just be careful going out into the public still, and etc. But people are still just pretending as if nothing happened, right? And so I kind of find it a little bit terrifying and a little bit scary to imagine that we go through all of this, we blame someone else, whoever that is, the virus or the government or the corporation or the Chinese people or the bats, whatever it is, we blame them and then we pretend like it wasn't our fault, or that we had nothing to do with it, that there was nothing that we could have done to change it. And we just go on as normal. And then the next pandemic comes, and then we kind of do the same thing. We repeat our mistakes. We don't learn from them, and we keep on going until global warming hits, and then, there's no going back, which they say has been reduced to about 18 months. So it means that after 18 months, the damage is irreparable, which means we cannot go back, which is a very scary thought indeed. In general, I didn't do this video in order to be like, oh, doomsayer, everything's going to shit and we should just hide in the corner and cry. But in general, what I wanted to say is that it's not a good idea in any case, in any shape or form, to remove responsibility from ourselves. I'm not saying to take complete responsibility. Of course, the beginning of the pandemic wasn't our fault. It came from China, I believe. Whatever their reasons might be, I don't know exactly where or why or how it happened, but it did. And so it came from there, and now we're here, and we need to learn from it, and we need to move past it, and we cannot just blame something else or someone else and pretend like that they're the ones who are at fault and they need to take care of it, that we don't need to do anything else about it at all, because that's not going to change the scenario. Otherwise, we're just going to slip back into the old ways of doing things, and we're going to keep on repeating our mistakes over and over and over and over again. It seems like what we've been doing in the past anyways, so maybe that's just the way we're going to do it until we die or until we're killed off. Either way, I'm glad that I'm able to share this information with you guys. I'm happy that at least we can talk about it in a public format like this. I'm happy that we can at least even converse about it or discuss things like this, because at least there is some freedom of expression left and we can have these conversations without fearing for our lives. If you guys have any comments on this, or if you have any insights, or if I said something that was false and you want to correct me, please do so. I am happy to listen. So comment below. And also, if you have any questions, maybe I'll do a follow-up video if you have something that you want me to expand upon. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being on my channel. I really appreciate it. I shall see you guys next time around. Bye for now.